Okay. Okay, so I just want to take a moment to just sort of pause and talk about a couple of things. This won't take too long. But where we are so far, we're through chapter 14, and I just want to kind of remind you of a few themes that I think are important. First one, slavery. Remember that even though this book was written after the Civil War, it takes place, Mark Twain made it take place before the Civil War. So um, African Americans at this time were treated no different than property, which is why it's so important that Jim continues to run away and why he gets so scared in situations where they might run into other people because he could really easily get roped back into the slave trade, especially too because there is a reward out there for him of $300, which was a lot of money at the time, because he was seen as really valuable. He's an asset. Um, so, scary time for Jim and Huck. You're going to see in the chapters that follow. It's this coming of age story in a sense, which leads us to another theme about growing up, where he is kind of grappling with this idea on if he's doing the right thing by continuing to hide Jim. He's conflicted because he's grown up in a society where people that hide slaves, that do anything of the sort, are seen as seen as bad. Like that's a wrong thing to do. Whereas we know morally that he's actually doing the right thing, and he feels that he's doing the right thing as well. But his morals are sort of conflicting with society. So there is the third theme then of society and hypocrisy. So you're going to see in the chapters that follow, he's kind of grappling with this idea of what to do with Jim and if he should continue his trek with him or leave him or turn him into someone. And that's kind of difficult to see as the reader to see him considering turning Jim into authorities, but he's just conflicted. He's young, and like I said, he doesn't know any different, and he's really starting to figure that out. Um, but one thing too, I want you just to kind of think about in the chapters that follow. So I included a map for you guys on the same Google Doc that shows the trek from St. Petersburg, where they started, Missouri, all the way down to where they end up, which is in Towhead. But before that, their goal is to get to Cairo. And I just want you to think about why, with a runaway slave, Jim and Huck would opt to go south instead of north. There's going to be an explanation for that in chapters that follow, but just kind of start to think and look at that map and see where they're headed and see where Cairo, excuse me, oh, and see where Cairo is located and start to think for yourself why they would opt to go south. That's going to be really important. Um, And then another thing that is going to help you and you can use as a resource if needed. I'm assuming you'll be able to use it on your Chromebook, but I'm not sure. But SparkNotes is a great resource for you if you're having trouble with the dialects that Mark Twain writes in, especially Jim's, because sometimes it's really hard to make out what he's saying. And if you go to SparkNotes, there's a category, just like search Huck Finn, and then there's an option called Translate where it does a side by side. It does the original text on one side, and then the other side does the translated version. And there's a couple of parts, especially in chapter 14, and then moving forward, where Jim is talking, and it's really difficult, I think, to make out what he's saying due to the um, really good job that Mark Twain does with the dialogue and his dialect. But that might be really helpful for you if you're having difficulties getting through those passages to utilize that resource. Um, so take a couple of things just to ponder. One, why are they going further south, deeper south, instead of trying to get to the north, to the free states? And to just start reflecting on some of those themes, start thinking about slavery, and what that really means to Huck, what that means for Jim, and society, which is another theme as well. Start thinking about the society that they're living in, because there is a society surrounding them. However, they're kind of away from that. They're secluding themselves and isolating themselves away from society, which is really allowing Huck to start thinking about some of the hypocrisy of society and some of the things that are going on, that maybe he does or doesn't agree with, or maybe that he just is too young to really understand. However, I think you're going to find in the chapters that follow, he is wise beyond his years and he is fully capable of thinking about some of the things going on in society and forming his own opinions. Um, and Jim, too. He is intelligent in a much, much different way that sometimes is really difficult as readers for us to see because of his stubbornness. Um, but he's a very genuine person. He's forever thankful for Huck, and you're going to see that also. You're going to see his gratitude for Huck in the chapters that follow. So also just be aware of that gratitude. Yeah, and then again, just be sure that if you need to, you're utilizing the translation portion of the Huck Finn Spark Notes, because that will be huge in making sure that you're understanding the dialogue. I think that kind of wraps everything up that I just wanted to touch base on. Again, as I've said in my other videos, if you have any questions, please email me right away with anything you may have. If it's a question that I feel like maybe other people have, I might just throw it up on a discussion board on Schoology for everybody to see. But we'll kind of worry about that as we get to that point. All right, well that wraps it up. This video was a little bit longer than I thought. So if you followed this long, which I hope you did, I thank you. I really appreciate it, and continue working hard through your classes. And I really hope to see you guys soon. Miss you. Bye.